Hey everybody. So don't mind my appearance. Been traveling all day, got back from a fabulous vacation, and I made a terrible mistake. I got back on social media. So you saw my title, Cheap and Easy, and I have a bone to pick. I'm irritated. I should not have jumped on social media the second that I got home. Well, it wasn't the second, a couple hours after. But I do have a bone to pick. So this is what I want to say. On my 6-hour drive home, I had a lot of conversations with my husband, just about, everything. We have great conversation. And one of the conversations was a lot about just the therapy field, the counseling field, how I want to do things differently, how I see society as a whole treating therapy. And I want to talk about this. So what happened is that I made the great mistake of getting on social media when I got home. I'm selling some stuff on the Facebook marketplace. And so I just started the scroll, right? The absolute dread scroll. And I got caught up in some of these Facebook groups. And this is what irritates me. These are some posts that I see pretty often. So one post was, hey, does anybody know the therapist for marriage that just does text therapy? Okay. The next one I saw was, I'm trying to remember the one about, then there was one about, I think that, no. How should the therapist act if I took my kid to therapist in the middle of my divorce? Shouldn't the therapist be on my side? Pretty sure you brought your kid for help, but just saying. Or I see things like, oh, this was the other one that I saw. I just can't handle this. I just am so upset about this friendship ending. And people are like, are you talking about with your therapist? Oh, no. I'm in therapy, but I just needed more therapeutic support from this group. Here's what I want to say. Cheap and easy therapy is cheap and easy. And if you're actually going to Facebook groups and you're asking these questions, you're not serious. You're not serious about actually getting help. So first and foremost, if you're asking about a therapist that only does text therapy for your marriage, you don't give a crap about your marriage. I'm sorry. If you can't make the time or the financial commitment to helping your marriage, then what the hell is a text message going to do? And I saw people saying, well, have you tried AI? Well, have you read the recent research? The use of AI makes you stupid. And if you use AI as your therapist, I'm telling you, all it does is affirm you and make you feel so warm and cozy. It does nothing to help you. If you're going on these Facebook groups and you're saying, well, why isn't the therapist taking my side when I'm taking my kid to therapy? Hold on a second. Have you considered you're part of the problem? I thought you took that kid to therapy because you're going through a nasty divorce. Do you care about the kid, or do you care about what the kid is saying to the therapist about you? What are you doing? And then these people, they go on Facebook, we all know them, and they trauma dump. They dump shit, all over these Facebook pages, and they just want therapeutic support. There's nothing therapeutic about that. Nothing therapeutic about that. There's no effective tools and techniques, validated techniques that are going to be used on Facebook. You want attention. I get it. When we feel crappy, we want attention. But really, on a Facebook page, and all of y'all that think that you're a pseudo therapist and you get on there and you advise, you don't know what that person's doing after that advice. I can't tell you how many people have come into my office and said, well, somebody advised me, somebody meaning a friend or some stranger, ABC, whoever did it, advised me on X, Y, and Z. And guess what? They're more suicidal. And what are they going to do? Just sit with those suicidal thoughts because Joe Schmo or an anonymous member on a Facebook group gave them really great advice. I'm sorry. This cheap and easy way around what's going on is driving me crazy. Here's the thing too. Every single distress in your life does not require a therapeutic intervention. Sometimes life just sucks. Sometimes we just suffer. But that doesn't mean that you need a therapist for every single thing. That's the problem with society now, is that everybody needs a therapist for every single thing that's wrong with them. Absolutely wrong. What we need to have come back into society is that we grow grit, we develop resilience. And the only way we do those things is when we step into the tough stuff instead of going out to someone and saying, please fix me. I do not have a magic wand. I do not have a magic wand. When you come work with me, you do the work. And my clients know this. I'm tough. Why aren't you doing your homework? Why aren't we engaging in a conversation? Why aren't you using these tools? I call them on it. Don't come here and waste your time and your money on me if you're not serious about the work, if you're not serious about feeling good. And I'm telling you, I love that my clients step into it, because listen, we are working. We're working hard. And I get that that's not the typical therapeutic model. We just sit there, not me, my industry, just sit there and nod. Tell me more. Tell me more. How does that make you feel? But what's actually happening? What's actually happening? You make them feel pretty good. You tickle their ears for a little bit. But have they changed? Absolutely not. And I want to disrupt the current therapeutic model. Not everybody needs therapy. Got to buck up, camper. And not every therapist is doing you good. Just sitting there nodding their head and taking your money in. I've had clients come to me and say, I just feel like they're piggy bank. Yep. And if you're looking for cheap therapy, let's talk about cheap therapy. Let's talk about these huge platforms like BetterHelp and Talkspace, all of these. Let's talk about these cheap platforms. You know what they do to therapists? They pay them abysmal rates. They might make $30 a session because, by the way, they're contractors. So $30, 30% for taxes. Then they have to pay their own fees. They're making like $9 an hour after they spent $50,000 on a master's degree. How much do you think they care about you when they have to see 30 more in the same week? They don't. They're barely making their ends meet. These cheap platforms, because they're just so convenient and they're so cheap, they cheapen the experience of therapy, and it perpetuates this idea that therapy is for every single ailment. It is not. It is absolutely not for every single ailment. I know this is a rant, but I'm telling you, I shouldn't have gotten on Facebook. I shouldn't have gone on social media. I had such a good family vacation. I roasted myself in the sunshine. I had amazing family time, and I stupidly got on Facebook. And I read these stupid posts. And maybe I'm being too harsh to those of you that have written those posts. Or maybe you need to hear the harshness. Maybe instead of looking for the therapist that just tickles your ears and affirms everything that you say, maybe what you need to hear is stop looking for attention. If you want to feel better, you want to live a different life, then act differently. Do something different. Ask someone who actually is going to give you the tools to push you into a new existence. If you're all put out because the therapist isn't taking your side during your divorce for your kid, maybe you're getting divorced for a reason. Why are you worried about who's taking your side? Why are you not actually worried about the kid? Maybe it was just performative. I put my kid into counseling because I care about them. Do you? But then you're posting about it for sympathy online. And if you are seriously asking for text therapy for your marriage, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. You don't care about your marriage? You are not all in on saving that marriage. So shame on me for getting on Facebook, for seeing these groups. But seriously, cheap and easy is not the way to go for therapy, y'all. It's just not. And unfortunately, it perpetuates this really crappy therapeutic model of a therapist sitting on a couch and just nodding their head and just kind of making you feel good for an hour. That's all it does. And I think it's wrong. I think that real therapy steps into that muck and that mire with you and says to you, hey, your thinking here is not serving you. It is time to make change. Instead of like, oh, tell me more. How does that make you feel? Listen, I say those things too, but I also say, hey, this idea that you have that's constantly keeping you paralyzed is bullshit. And this thinking is the reason why you're in this space. Listen, I'm not for every single client. I recognize this. But if we don't start speaking against that old therapeutic model of just patting you on the head and making you feel good all the time and not challenging you into a different self, we're all going to be stuck in this space of getting on these stupid Facebook pages and saying, who's a cheap and easy therapist? And then trauma dumping on everybody because we're so desperate for attention and to be special. You are an extraordinary human being. You are special simply because you are born on this earth and you're a child of God. That's how I see you. But to keep seeking it outside of self, you are constantly going to find disenchantment, discouragement, despair, all the D's. You have to find someone that's going to challenge you into a resilient, beautiful self that I know that you are. Stop going on these Facebook pages. My gosh, they drive me crazy. So that's my rant. That's my end of vacation rant. Shame on me for getting on these stupid Facebook groups. Why do I get on them? Because there are legitimately people on there that really are seeking answers. And I try to give it to them. I have so many free resources on my website. This is not me just saying, hey, come to Piper, pay my prices. No. I carry sliding scale for those that can't afford me. And I give so much free crap out because I do know that not everybody can afford me. But it's the people that truly want change that grab the, for example, I did get an email while I was on vacation. This gal emailed me. She's out of like Illinois or Iowa or something. And she said, I heard your podcast. I've taken some of your resources. Is there anything else you can give me? That's it. Like, good for you. And I told her, I can't work with you, but yes, here's another resource. Here's another resource. Here's another resource. That's what I'm talking about. Take the bull by the horns, take accountability for what's going on in your life, and find the tools. Reach out for help, but don't just be like putting your hand out like, please, fix me. No, get the tools and do the work. I do not have a magic wand, nor does any other therapist, and especially if you are paying $30 an hour. Just saying. Anyway. I know I'm ranting. Shame on me for looking at these things after my vacation. I had a really great vacation. I did. I just get riled up every once in a while. And it's because I feel so passionately about changing the environment, the therapeutic industry, and changing how you think about what we do. I would say, out of the people that contact me for help, 6 out of 10 have actual clinical levels that really need my support. The others, I tell them, you don't have clinical levels, but I really want to do this. Great. I just want to let you know, you don't have clinical levels. This is the pathway that I take. So we're going to have to come up with some other, barometers, goals to ensure that we're staying on track. But you have no clinical levels. Life is just really tough right now, and that's totally cool if you need a release valve. But just so you know, you don't have the clinical levels and you're actually really killing it at life. It's just really difficult right now. I want to change the narrative, and part of changing that narrative is also talking about this garbage that we see on these Facebook groups. I know it is totally unpopular, and I'm going to piss off a lot of people, and that's okay. Because I really believe strongly in this. This doesn't make me not compassionate. This doesn't any of those things. And believe me, I've had people call me all kinds of names. So you can say them. I don't care. I've heard them. Because I know what I was put on this earth to do. And I'm freaking good at it. Yep. No humility with that one. But it's because I help those people that really need that help. And I call them out on those things. And those people that come to me recognize I'm going to have to make a time and financial commitment to really make a change in my life. And that's incredible. They're helping disrupt this old therapeutic idea of just sitting there nodding their head. I love it. My clients are incredible. They step into the hard stuff. I am so blessed that they do. And hey, clients, if you've ever done the Facebook dump, I still love you. You just know that your therapist gets on our soapbox once in a while. Talk to y'all soon. Take care.